Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, July 9th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, it is my responsibility to nurture my feels. And we are moving towards a full moon in Capricorn coming in tomorrow on Thursday. But today, the moon is shifting into Capricorn, preparing us. But this is where the build-up starts happening. Now, this is a fairly quiet full moon astro-wise. We don't need any more noisy astro, so that's a relief. But the Capricorn energy brings us back to the energy of personal responsibility, that we get to choose how we're going to respond. And that's interesting because that's kind of what I'm feeling in this day for sure. We have the moon moving into Capricorn at 1:55 a.m. Pacific time. And then its first connections are with Saturn and Neptune. And that's relatively early in the morning for most of us. And these are squares, and squares have challenge. And the Aries Capricorn square is always interesting because Aries energy is just meant to be boisterous and fiery and itself in all the ways. And Capricorn is where a lot of times we've tapered those energies. We've shut them down, slowed them down a little bit. And yet, Capricorn in its ultimate truth is asking us to embrace our soul blueprint energy. And so we feel this square, right? We feel this resistance with Saturn and Aries, Neptune and Aries being like, hey, here's your fire. And, Saturn, which I don't feel like Saturn represents society so much, but it feels like society has hijacked Saturn. That's how we're going to say it. And so we feel the shoulds of how we're supposed to show up. And we may have feels come up around this. The impulse to be who we are versus the impulse to fit in society. We have a challenge in this. And again, like I said, there may be some feeling energy bubbling up around this. And it's your responsibility to tend to the feels that are showing up, and also to see how you move through the feels showing up and how you express the feels showing up with this energy. Now, Moon in Capricorn squaring Saturn is an interesting one because there's responsibility in both energies. But again, are you going to pay homage to responsibility? Or are you going to take back your power, take back your authority, and honor responsibility, recognizing you get to choose how you respond? Now, a lot of times it takes a little pause to choose how you're going to respond, so be aware of that. But we have that, and then we have the moon in Capricorn squaring Neptune in Aries. And Neptune in Aries is reminding us of our divine spiritual selves. And where is it going with that? You can be fully human and fully divine, I think, is the remembrance here. And I feel like that lines so much with, again, the truth of Capricorn energy. But we may have not fully embraced that here in society. So be aware. Again, there might just come up some of these energies. We also have an opposition. We have the moon in Capricorn opposing Jupiter in Cancer. And this is always an interesting one too, because Jupiter in Cancer is expanding the feels that we feel. And society has not yet grown comfortable with people having feelings, namely sad feelings or angry feelings. And I think we all are, working our way through this. But you may feel, again, a little challenge in this. The work here, I think, is some sacred restructuring within ourselves. Capricorn energy can be about structure. where can we shift some of these energies to allow more, what I'm hearing is to allow more of the light to come through. Now, I know that like sometimes sadness doesn't feel like the light, and yet it doesn't mean that it's not, right? Sometimes anger doesn't necessarily feel like the light, and again, it doesn't mean that it's not. And I think it is in how we express and allow these energies to move through us. So this is part of the work, and like I said, as we build to a full moon, it does start to crescendo some of the feeling energies. Now, the full moon is going to happen on Thursday at 1:37 p.m. Pacific time. So, afternoon, later in the afternoon, depending where you live. But just be aware, as we build to it, you may feel more of that. And you may also feel more of that pressure to, like, appear appropriately in society, and watch for that. And again, remember your own personal responsibility. I keep getting the word restructuring when I tune into this full moon, and I believe it is because, you know, the Uranus energy is kind of like shaking stuff up, not to mention all the other stuff happening over the last couple of years that have shook stuff up. And this restructuring is going to be ongoing, but like for where you are at right now, how can you restructure and how you're being called to show up? Let's look at the cards. Feels, right? The sorrow card is here, and the universe is like, this is all just part of your Earth School curriculum. This is lessons. This is your experiencing, and there's nothing wrong with it. Allow yourself to move through it. Bring your consciousness with you. Bring your awareness with you. Can you trust the process? Now, to be fair, the trust card is in reverse, and I think that part of that trust in reverse is, I think for some of us, I think this is true for me, it can be hard to like trust, like society's ready for me in my fullness. And I don't know that I feel 100% that. And, you know, so these are some of the blocks that we're moving through. So we have that trust energy. We're not quite there yet. That's okay. We also have the new vision card in reverse, which means we need to shift some perspectives around in order to get to this new vision. And I feel like, again, part of this is part of like kind of organizing our insights, doing a little restructuring around these energies that are coming up. The card from the deep place I love. It is the Cosmos card. And I'm going to read it because I just like it. Okay. We are big souls living in a big universe. We belong here. We can rest in the beauty of this vastness because we are a fractal of it. The cosmos embodied, the universe incarnate. What might it mean to remember that there is just as much wonder in our own hearts as there is in the whole cosmos, and that we're right here where we belong? Some questions. What might it mean to take up space in the cosmos, knowing that you belong, knowing that your emotions, your feels belong as part of you, part of the expression of you? What is the quality of the vastness of your own heart? How might you step into that vastness in an even deeper way? Some affirmations. I can rest in the bigness of the cosmos and take up space within it. I belong. I am a creature of the light, stardust and magic, the cosmos incarnate. And then there's a practice in here. It says, sit quietly and breathe, and imagine an ocean in your heart, and feel the depth, power, and vastness of this ocean alive in you. What's here for you in this space? So, love that Cosmos card, and love that it's bringing forth the bigness of us. Yeah. All right, so that's it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And may your guiding light be strong. And know you can trust your process. Namaste.